Welcome everybody to our webinar about our new CDM Plus plans and prices. My name is Alex Clay. I am the CEO of Saran Systems. We make CDM Plus and a few other things. And we're very happy to have you with us this afternoon on a Thursday as we head towards some warmer weather, some springtime. And we've got a really good presentation for you today. Joining me, I've got several other staff members from Saran. Chris Widener, you might have heard him before, is in our marketing department. More and more people are joining, so we'll go ahead and just go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to start with what I think is going to be very, very helpful to try and sort of define how we at Saran see CDM Plus. This is really sort of the driving force among some other goals that we had with this new pricing. But I believe this is going to help frame our conversation so you can kind of understand exactly what all we're doing for new clients and for current clients and whatever your situation might be. We're then going to walk through the plans that we announced last week, both for new clients and for current clients. And then as I suspect many of you here are current clients of ours, we're going to talk through this transition, which can be simple. It can be a little more involved, but we're going to try to get all of your questions answered. And at the end, we will have a question and answer session. Now, before we get started with sort of this look at CDM Plus, I'd like to call out a couple of online resources. You might have seen in the slides before the webinar started that we are very, very excited to finally launch a new cdmplus.com website that we have been very hard at work on for over a year and a half. This website really represents CDM Plus as we see it, as we understand it, as we want you to have access to it, and all of the great things that this fairly vast piece of software can do for you and for your ministry. We launched this on Monday, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just switch over and kind of take you over to this site real quick, just so you can take a look. I absolutely invite you to explore cdmplus.com on your own time. Send it to anyone who's curious about, hey, what is this CDM Plus that we have? We often get a lot of questions from people saying or comments, you know, I know there's just so much more that CDM Plus can do. And we're trying to make that as transparent and clear to you and help show you all the different ways CDM Plus can really work for you and what it is that you're doing on a daily basis. Our site here, you know, kind of jump right in and take a look a little bit at our background here, at our history. And as you scroll down, you're going to find this section that kind of just covers, at least highlights, all of the different kinds of things you can do with CDM Plus. We've got information on our support, testimonials, and one thing that we are very, very happy to offer is front and center, right at the top of our site, a link to pricing. This is a question that we have often gotten from prospects, from current clients. What is your pricing? How does that work? And hopefully at the end of the webinar today, you'll have a sense somewhat of what that was, but definitely of what that is going forward. Another great resource is our Saran Help Center. This is something we launched last year, and up until now has primarily been for documentation. You can access the Help Center in CDM Plus, going under Help to open Help Center. You can also go to help.saran.com. But on our website, if you go under support at the top, we have a link here to documentation. And this is our Help Center where you can take a look at information about CDM Plus and mobile and engage. But very relevant to today's conversation is this new section that we've added for CDM Plus sales. So if you scroll down here and take a look at CDM Plus sales, you may have already been in on this site to take a look at some of the information you received in an email last week. But here you'll find everything that we have with our pricing, about the transition that we're going through right now, looking at forms if you need to, for example, change the bank account that your online giving is deposited into. We've got a handy form for this right here. If you've ever had a question about our hosting and kind of the policies and the security that we offer, there's a page right here that just walks you through all of this. So this is a tremendous resource. I'm very, very excited to make this available. And one thing that's important to know, our sales team uses this exact same information. So our goal is to be as transparent and straightforward as we can. So any sort of decision on in a certain situation, how are we going to handle that? Our intent is to make sure that is fairly clearly articulated here on this site so that our sales are looking at it, you're looking at it, your board, your pastors, your decision makers are all able to access the same consistent information. So this is our CDM Plus Help Center. Let's switch back to my slides here. All right, so let's take a minute and just kind of talk about CDM Plus today. CDM Plus, if you don't know, was created by my father, Randy Clay, for his own church over 35 years ago, actually in the mid 80s. And Saran was formed shortly thereafter to help bring CDM Plus to more and more churches and organizations and nonprofits across this great country and beyond. So CDM Plus has a very long history of being built and birthed in ministry and then grown through the impact and the feedback and the contribution and the needs of all of our clients. And this is essentially the road that we have traveled to get us to where we are today. When we talk about CDM Plus, we mean the entire CDM Plus software suite. Now, CDM Plus is a cloud application. It's designed to run on our hosting servers to connect different platforms, whether that's Engage, mobile, or CDM Plus desktop, together into one consolidated software suite. And you'll notice there's a link in the bottom left there. This takes you to a page about our platforms on our website. And all the information, again, I'm sharing here, this is should be very plainly available on our site to help reinforce and explain what we're going through. At Saran, we believe very strongly in using the right tool for the job. As I said, CDM Plus is cloud computing. And what that means is that we take the advantages of technology and we use this to provide tools that are there for your ministry and for your good work in the world. The CDM Plus desktop application is powerful, robust desktop software. This is where you have accounting that is built for faith-based and nonprofit organizations, a rich reporting, robust queries. This component is designed to be used, for example, by your office staff to do their daily work, applying data to your ministry. CDM Plus Mobile excels any place that you need to actually apply that data or capture that data in the moment. Attendance tracking, check-in, mobile receipt entry. Mobile applications work extremely well for very fast purpose-built applications. And CDM Plus Mobile builds on top of this whole cloud infrastructure to allow you to work in that moment where you're actually in the field, whether it's taking visitation notes or getting a reminder that somebody was just discharged from the hospital and you want to do a follow-up. Mobile is really a great tool, and we think the best tool for those sort of options. Our Engage platform is designed for your members and your guests and your visitors to interact live with your data, to have directories where you take a photo on mobile, that's instantly available online. Somebody updates their phone number, that's instantly updated in your desktop software. Online giving with Engage is simply the best way to do online giving. Online giving and Engage saves directly to your CDM Plus database. And we're going to talk more about this in a minute. But the thing to remember here is these all integrate, these all connect back together. And it's our hosted data in our cloud that we manage and maintain that connects and provides and really powers this integration for everyone. And the key word here is integration. When CDM Plus was created, one of the biggest challenges that the world was facing, or really learning, not that there was a challenge, but that there was a solution to, is that databases and computerization and putting a digital management around your data really provides tremendous value, cost savings, time savings. We started with that all those years ago, and today we still absolutely believe it. Why work harder when you can work smarter? CDM Plus absolutely excels at integration. When we talk to clients, we talk to prospects, this is where they see the biggest value. We don't have things in multiple systems. We don't have to copy and paste or manually re-enter. And having the centralized cloud solution allows us to bring that integration to you. Integration means value for your organization. You're going to save time importing. You're going to save time rekeying your weekly payroll into your bank's website. You're going to save money paying for discrete systems. You don't have to go get a separate solution for doing your online giving or a separate accounting software. you're going to save your time updating those separate systems. And more importantly, you're going to save time with accuracy. You're going to avoid mistakes. You're just going to have more consistency so that people are getting the right information at the right time. And integrated solutions really provide this value to you. Surrounding these integrated solutions are a set of services that are designed to raise up and bring you the best solution that we can. Routine software updates and upgrades. We have a very talented development team. They're constantly working to refine, improve, expand, extend, and bring new updates to you. And we want to make sure that everyone has those as soon as they're available. Constantly updated documentation. Software changes. Software is a very, very live, active product. And our documentation, our resources have to update and move with those. And this is something that is not necessarily a project for us. This is simply just another ongoing service that we provide to keep working to ensure our documentation is expanded and updated as we move along. First-class support. We are very, very proud of our support team, and I'm extremely thrilled when we do things like send a survey out after January, our busiest time of the year. And I hear just over and over again how patient and how kind and how compassionate our support is. Part of that is because our support team is made up of people that used to use the program. They used to work in church offices and state offices. They understand where you are and they are there to help you. That is what drives every single support person at Saran, is they want to help you solve your problems. And with that, to offer excellent training. Anytime you purchase the software, we give you two full hours of individual training personalized with the trainer. One thing that not everyone knows that we're hoping to make more available, if you have key staff turnover, if you're a bookkeeper, if you're a treasurer, if somebody who is the main go-to person in your office for the whole CDM Plus system, if you have a new person in that position, we've got 2 free hours of training just ready, waiting to go for them. You can email training@saran.com. You can give us a call and we'll be happy to set that up because we want you to excel and understand and be able to thrive with our solutions. All of this together, this cloud infrastructure, these supporting services, everything, this is how we understand CDM Plus. That is what CDM Plus means to us. And we want all of that CDM Plus to be at your fingertips to power your good work in the world. So this is where we're coming from. This is what we hope we're going to share with you today, that our site will present, that our updates, our everything that we do will sort of centralize around this idea. So I appreciate having a few minutes there to explain sort of our vision. As I said, I think this is important context for us in the conversation going forward. So with this in mind, let's talk for a minute about new clients, because this is also, again, when you come to CDM Plus today and you're a new client, I want you to understand what that is, because you're evaluating CDM Plus against all the other solutions out there, whether that's homegrown or a competitor of ours or some other solution. And we need to understand how we kind of stack up and making sure that we have really great value. We are not the most expensive in the market. At some levels, we are not the cheapest, but we want to make sure that we're providing the best value so that, again, you can do that work that you need to do. And from this explanation for new clients, we're going to then fall into our current pricing for our current clients and see how those connect through. So if you come to CDM Plus today and you want to purchase the software, this is part of our new plans we announced. We have 4 plans available. We start with core, and we define the core product as being membership, contributions, the accounting and payroll software. This is the most popular combination that our clients currently use. And this is very clearly sort of the core of what you need to do your business operations, even if you're a church, the business of the church, to be able to operate and have good fiscal stewardship of your resources and so on. So when you come to CDM Plus today, if you want this core package, that runs $100 a month. However, CDM Plus is fairly modular. Maybe you don't need all of that. Maybe you just want the accounting. Maybe you're just after childcare. Maybe you want to add in childcare or facilities management. We have 8 different programs in the CDM Plus suite, and you can mix and match those as much as you want. So for those, we have a choice. And this essentially starts at $50 a month for one program and $25 for each additional program. Now, if you're tracking the math at home, you'll say, wait a minute, $50 a month plus 2 more programs, that's $100. That's core. And you're exactly right. Functionally, from a pricing, from a licensing standpoint, these two are identical. But the core is a great way to say, this is how we understand CDM Plus as the most valuable, the most frequently used, because we have folks that are just doing things on Excel. You know, they're not used to the idea of having full-blown management software. And this kind of helps guide them towards what a good option is going to be. One of the new options that we've added is what we call CDM Plus Complete. And we've had this question plenty of times. It's very popular in sort of our world of subscriptions and models to say, okay, I just want unlimited, you know, give me everything. I don't want to have to think about what all I've got. And now we have a plan for that. CDM Plus Complete is $175 a month, and you get every single program, whether you use it or not. That is essentially the price of everything in CDM. One key difference here with Complete is we don't charge any extra for your user licenses. So you can install CDM Plus and use it as many times as you want on as many computers, and that is completely wide open. There's no limitation there. The other option that we've added for new sales, and we're very excited by this, is something we call CDM Plus Grow. As we've talked to prospects and users over the years, there's a very real difference between a small church or a small organization where you may have 25 people on a Sunday, you may have 40 people in your database, versus somebody that might have 100, 125, or 200 folks. This is simply a question of economy. When you're small, you're simply operating, you're just operating at a different level of budget than you might be at a large organization. You know, where $175 a month, if you're a larger multi-campus megachurch, now that may just, that might not be anything to even show up on your radar. But if, again, you've only got 20 people on a Sunday, that's a lot of money. So we worked through various pricing options to come up with this Grow plan. It's $50 a month. It's half the cost of sort of our main flagship core. You get the same programs, membership, contributions, accounting, and payroll. But the difference here is that we're going to put a cap on how many records you can put in. This is for our smaller clients. So for Grow, you can have 50 givers or 75 individuals. And we found these numbers by actually analyzing the hosted data that we have and looking at where our clients kind of break at different tiers. If you look in the bottom left sort of footnote on this slide, there's an intermediate there. You can go step up to $75 a month, and that's going to increase your givers and your individuals. And then past that, you're at the core level of $100 a month. Of course, anything on our core, choice, complete plans, absolutely unlimited records. And within Grow, the only record limitations are givers and individuals. You are not limited in how many gifts you can record, how many ledger entries, how much accounting, how much payroll, how much attendance, any of it. Use it to your heart's content. This is really designed to sort of mirror the size of your organization in terms of membership. With all of these plans, every single plan from Grow to Complete, you get data hosting, Engage. That means all of Engage with the merchant account, online giving, payroll direct deposit, our mobile application, unlimited email and phone support, every single update, and that complimentary training I was talking about. What this means is that, say you're a small organization, $50 a month, you get your core management software, membership, contributions, accounting, all your payroll, and online giving, and payroll direct deposit, and you're not paying any additional monthly fees for that software. This is true for every single package that we have. It's built in. There's nothing extra that you have to purchase or enroll in to get these supporting services, as I talked about before, that really sort of raise up and bring this overall product to life and really to become a partner for you. Everything I just explained is also listed on our website. So you go to cdmplus.com/pricing, you're going to see all of this listed out there in greater detail. Now, that's for new clients that are going to purchase today. Let's talk about our current clients. With our current clients, there's a few changes that are baseline across the board for everyone. And then we'll get into where it kind of gets a little different. First off, payroll is now part of accounting. We made a change about 8 years ago to support our Atrix partnership for doing tax form reporting and so on. We added an additional charge for payroll, $5 a month, and we added an additional requirement to say that you had to be enrolled in this plan in order to calculate payroll or to generate tax forms. Going forward, we've eliminated this extra fee. It's built into the plans. So when you have accounting, you now have payroll. There's no separate charge just to have the payroll. That requirement to be in some sort of subscription does remain. You need to be on some kind of plan in order to calculate payroll or generate tax forms. This is exactly the same as it was before these new plans came out. And any plan that we have meets this requirement. Tax law and regulation is a rapidly changing a realm, and starting a few years ago, we began requiring updating to the current version each year to be able to generate your tax forms. This year was no exception. The 1099 NEC, for example, was a brand new form. There were actually not one, but two revisions to the 941 form last year to handle various reporting elements for CARES and also for regulatory changes in response to COVID. Tax forms change all the time, calculations change all the time, and we want to make sure that we are 100% accurate. Having an annual update for your accounting or payroll software is also an industry standard. So we're not really doing anything untoward here. We're simply sort of, taking that fairly sensible approach to say, tax law and regulation doesn't stay still, it needs to be updated. We're here to make sure that you get accurate figures. So we're going to bring those updates to you. Part of this is solved with our new plans because every single plan has updates to the current version. So you automatically have this built into your plan. For those of you that are using Engage and might have come to our webinar about 6 months ago, you might be sitting here thinking, now wait a minute, Saran, you just changed all your Engage plans just 6 months back, and you're telling me that that's no longer in effect. And you are correct. Our changes in the fall to bring Engage into 3 levels, standard, payroll, complete. Spoiler alert, those are actually an intermediate stepping stone to getting to this larger change. This was a way to sort of simplify and streamline before we made this final change. Starting today, Engage is Engage is Engage. There are no more tiers. Engage simply means all of our online tools and the merchant account that goes with them. That whenever you hear me talk about Engage from this point forward, that is what we're talking about. Another change that is universal, an additional user license is $5 a month for every single plan, whether you're new or current, doesn't matter. We also have a concept of what we call an additional organization. I'm going to talk more about this here on the next slide. Additional organizations are $15 a month for all plans. This is true for new and current, and the max is $30 for any parent organization. So what the heck is an additional organization? We've had this concept for many, many years. Previously, we referred to these as shared hosting. With Engage Complete, the plans we came out in the fall, we had this option for an additional account. Put simply, we hope, an additional organization is a discrete organization, meaning that they have their own federal employee ID number, their own 501c3, that share the same administrative staff. So for example, if you are a cluster of churches, you have one set of administrative staff overseeing both churches, you have a parent and one additional organization. If you have a childcare, daycare facility with its own employee ID number, that is an additional organization. If you have childcare offered out of your church and it's not a distinct organization in the eyes of the government, that's not an additional organization. You can simply create a separate database or share the same CDM Plus database in that instance. Another example that we see, organizations that have a separate foundation or a ministry that could be local outreach or missions work. Again, it's the same office, the same people sort of running things, but they're discrete organizations. What we do here is to say, look, you've got the same folks, you have the same human power going behind these different organizations. And technically they really should have their own because they're just discrete legal entities. But recognizing that you're sharing that same administrative staff and know-how, we're going to let you have access to everything the parent does, $15 a month flat fee. And if you're a cluster of a series of very small churches, we cap that at $30. We're not going to go and get $60 a month out of you because you have a series of very small churches shared out of one office. If you have any questions about whether or not your situation would apply here, absolutely contact our sales team and we'll be happy to talk through that with you. Okay, so as we look at the new pricing, there's several factors that kind of shape how you're understanding where you fit into our new pricing. The first is whether or not you are SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service, or traditional. And I'll explain this in a second. You also need to understand the previous plans that you had or maintenance programs or subscriptions. You also need to understand what your renewal terms were previously. Did you pay annually or monthly or something in between? Probably most importantly is for you to stop and think about what is it that you need. This is a great time to evaluate what all CDM Plus you have. Most everyone is getting more CDM Plus, and we want to make sure that you have the right package for your ministry, for your organization, for what you need. So this is a great time to take a look at that. The emails that we sent last week have specific information for your organization. We sent out 13 different emails last Tuesday, and even still, that was combining some variations that really could have been split out even further. Our sales team, you can drop them an email at sales@cdmplus.com, are there to talk through your new pricing with you. We've had plenty of conversations already, very good conversations. We're standing by to have those again with you to help understand where you fit into this pricing, because everybody's situation is unique. So let me touch on this SaaS versus traditional. SaaS, or Software as a Service, is how we've sold CDM Plus for the last 6 years. So if you came to CDM Plus in 2018 and said, this is great, I want to use this product for my organization, you've got a SaaS license. This is not a new concept. This is something that has been established. The difference with SaaS from sort of traditional licensing, one of the biggest, most important difference is there's no upfront cost. The cost of the software is bundled into the ongoing fee. And frankly, SaaS is the most popular way, I'd say arguably, to purchase and work with software today. Here's a few examples of some SaaS software that you might be aware of. Adobe Creative Suite. So if you're using Photoshop or InDesign, you're using SaaS software. Microsoft Office 365. You pay Microsoft $99 a year. You get access to the current version of Word. Download, put it on your computer. That's SaaS software. That is SaaS cloud software. If you have G Suite, you might have Gmail accounts, and you may be on the free tier, you may be on the paid tier. Again, that is software as a service. You're not going to Google and saying, hey, here's $2,000 to get started, and then I might pay you some licensing down the road. It's simply just as you need it, ongoing sort of subscription model. By comparison, traditional software starts with that one-time software purchase. So if you purchased CDM Plus core programs maybe 8-10 years ago, you would have had a one-time upfront fee, maybe around $1,000. So that price is varied, and it depends on how much you purchase. You then add optional services to kind of extend that purchase. You might have a Premier Support enrollment to give you updates. You might have said, well, let's go on hosting. Maybe you said, well, Engage looks good. We want to add that on there as well. When you think traditional software, probably the easiest way to say it is box software on a CD. You know, go down to Walmart and pick up a copy of TurboTax 2008, take it home, stick it in your machine, do your taxes. You know, that would be sort of a traditional purchase. You've got that software, it's on your machine, ready to go. You own that license essentially, and that's it, one and done. But there's a much steeper upfront cost. So how do you know what license you have in your organization? Well, you want to open CDM Plus, and if you're on a Mac, you go into the CDM Plus menu. If you're on Windows, you go into the File menu. You go to About CDM Plus and click on the Serialization tab. And you're going to see a model listed there, and it will say traditional or SaaS. Another good way to pretty much say is, if you bought it since 2015, you're probably SaaS. If you bought it prior to that, you're probably traditional. But there's, as there is everything, some exceptions. So just double check, and that's going to help you get a sense of kind of what your model is. And knowing this is important, understanding how you're fitting into our new pricing structure. So we're going to talk about SaaS because, as I said, this is how we sell CDM Plus today, and this is the most closely aligned with the pricing that we are offering and promoting for CDM Plus for any new client. Essentially, very simply put, if you're on SaaS, you're going to the pricing that's on cdmplus.com. So everything I just explained before with our core, choice, complete, grow models, that's what you're moving to. The good news is everyone either gains features or you might be saving money, kind of depending on what your configuration was before. Another piece, if you've been holding off on adding an additional user, maybe you ran into that situation where it says, sorry, you've hit your max number of concurrent user licenses, and you got to holler across the way at your pastor to say, hey, get out of CDM Plus, I need to get in there. Now it's just $5 a month to add that extra license. And so that kind of cut the cost in half, and hopefully that makes it easier for more people to use your CDM Plus. Here's an example. We're going to go to this core. Again, membership, contributions, accounting, and payroll. 2020 pricing, if you had this core and you didn't have Engage, was $80 a month. If you had Engage, it was $125 a month. Now it's $100 a month. And the benefits there, you either got all of Engage, you maybe just had the standard or the payroll or none of it before, you now have all of it. Online giving, payroll direct deposit, online directories, you just turn them on. There's no additional monthly cost for this. Or if you already were at that level of sort of what we see as the CDM Plus software suite, you have some savings because that's going to drop you into our current pricing. Here's another example. Maybe you just had accounting and payroll, a single program. In 2020, you paid $40 a month. Maybe you wanted to do payroll direct deposit, give your employees options to log in and look at pay stubs online. You were maybe paying $70 a month to have Engage payroll. Well, now it's $50 for one program. That's the choice plan. You get full Engage. And you might say, well, beyond the payroll direct deposit, what else is there in Engage? Well, you've got Engage billing. So if you have any facilities or anything that you use accounts receivable for, that's now included in your plan. Let's swing the other way. Let's say you're a power user. You've got membership, contributions, accounting and payroll, registration, roommate, check and check out, Engage complete, 7 concurrent user licenses. This isn't hypothetical. This is one of the users I went and looked up. They were paying $240 a month. Now we want to say, here's a fair price for all of this software. If you're going to buy in at that level, we're going to give you the all-you-can-eat unlimited buffet, $175 a month. Your benefits, unlimited users. Go to town. You can install it as much as you want. You also get 2 additional programs you didn't have before, our sales order program and our regional. Now, if you're a church, you probably don't need the regional component, but it's built in there in case you ever wanted to. Again, you don't have to use these programs. They're simply available. And of course, you get a pretty nice savings at this level. Let's talk about the timing of when these changes are going to go into effect for SaaS users. When you purchase SaaS, this was true before, it's true today. Your rate is locked in for 2 years. What that means is if you purchased from March 2019 or earlier, those rate changes are going to go into effect with your billing next month. Incidentally, all SaaS billing is done on a monthly basis with just 1 or 2 rare exceptions. Otherwise, if you purchased within the last 2 years, you're going to stay on the same rate until 25 months after your purchase, with the exception of saving money. If you're saving money, we're going to go ahead and kick that in next month on your SaaS, because to just hold you at that higher price until 25 months is greedy. We don't want to do that. Look at the email you got or contact sales@cdmplus.com and we can confirm and explain where that is. But here's the good thing. Even if your price change is delayed, let's say you're paying $80 a month and you purchased last year. That means that you won't see that increase to $100 until next year. You still get every new feature today. You can just contact us and turn on Engage. That would have been $45 a month extra for your online giving. And now that's just built in. Just contact sales and we'll get that turned on for you. So you have those access to your features right away. With Engage, again, no additional cost. Also, if you just had the standard or just the payroll, you now have all of it. And again, if you had everything in Engage, you get those cost savings. This is the real big benefit to any of our SaaS clients here. With Engage, and I'll talk some more about this a little bit later on, just a reminder, again, online giving, online directories, payroll direct deposit, online registration, online billing. There's so much more, there's so much you can do with Engage, and there's so much that we are looking to build into that platform. This is, again, just available to you now. All you have to do to get started is contact sales@cdmplus.com. We'll turn it on for you. To access your merchant account, you just got to fill out a couple of basic pieces of information, tell us where you want your money to be settled with all those gifts that you're going to get, and we'll get that processed in generally about 2 to 3 business days, if not sooner. Okay, so that's our current clients. That's our on SaaS, that's new clients. Let's talk about our traditional clients. These are folks that have been with us, and thank you for this, for many, many years. We are very, very proud of the fact that we have a great retention rate. On average, last time we measured, I think it was 14 or 15 years of our clients to have been with us. So understanding where our pricing is today, this is probably the most varied conversation to see how we can kind of fit you into these models. So let's go ahead and dive in. And again, we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. Previously, you had various options that you could mix and match. You could have Premier support. You could have data hosting. You could have Engage, whether that was standard, payroll, or complete. You could be on the payroll support program. You could have shared hosting. Those are 5, actually technically 7 different options to have combinations of. And we had somebody pretty much on every valid combination. Another element to consider is previously, if you wanted to say add registration, you're looking to go back to in-person worship and you want to have people pre-register, that would have cost you $400 to purchase that program. Again, it's not SaaS. There's an upfront purchase cost there. And if you wanted to add that additional user, well, it was one price if you were on support, a different price if you were on hosting, yet another price if you were on both. So it would kind of vary. Today, we have 3 plans. They are inclusive and they're a single price. First, we have Cloud. Cloud is identical to the SaaS Choice and Core plans. It's identical to what you get if you purchase CDM Plus today. If you're a SaaS user today, you get all the same features. However, it's a little cheaper. It's not $100 a month if you're core. It's $75 a month. And that is recognizing the fact that, for one, you've been with us for all those years. And for 2, you did pay a larger upfront cost, could be 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Knowing that going all the way up to that level is a huge jump from some of the options we had before. We have 2 other choices that are hopefully going to be some good options for your needs and your budget. The first one here is called Budget, and then we have one called Basic, and I'm going to explain what these 2 options have. In order to let you use more CDM Plus, we've dropped the price of an additional program in half. So if you're interested in online registration, if you're interested in Roommate, taking a look at our facilities management, or want to put some technology behind your childcare for security, that's now $200, not $400. Go to our new website, go to the page for event registration, go to the page for facilities manager, read how some of our clients, and every quote and testimonial on there, by the way, is from a real life person. And if you see yourself on there, thank you so much for offering to help with our site. But go and read about how these programs have helped their congregations and their communities be safe. These are great tools that you can bring to bear today, and we're making it more affordable. Just like with SaaS, everybody is either getting new features or they are saving money for our traditional clients. Our 3 plans are Basic, Budget, and Cloud. These are for our traditional users. These are priced just like our Choice and SaaS plans with one base price. So this is the first program you have. And when I say program, I mean membership. That's a program. Accounting and payroll, that's a program. Registration is a program, so on and so forth. So the first program, if you're on Basic, is $10 a month. And all this pricing is given monthly. Annual is no problem at all. Just multiply times 12. So Basic is 10 for the first program, Budget is 30, and Cloud is 45. Just to remind you, for sort of our Choice for our new purchase, that's $50 a month to start there. So you've got a bit of a break already on that Cloud, and an even better break on these other plans. Now, there's an additional cost for each program over that base. So for your Basic, it's $5 for each extra program. Your Budget, $10 extra. Your Cloud is $15 extra. Remember, I said Cloud is exactly the same as our current pricing, as our SaaS pricing is. That starts at $50 and $25 a month for each program. We believe that's a really great, fair value for what our software is. But for everyone that's on the traditional plan, that's $45 a month and $15 a month for each program, right? You're already going to see massive savings, especially as you add more and more programs. Every plan includes software updates. You no longer have to think, oh my gosh, have I purchased this upgrade? As we come out with new versions, those are available to you immediately. Every plan has that. Every plan has data hosting. Data hosting is the best way to have your data available, backed up, safe, and secure. And now that is no longer a financial consideration at all. 70% of our clients are on data hosting. That's a fairly significant percentage. I would love that to be 100%. I understand that there may be areas where the internet's not great. And as our world certainly moves forward, I'm expecting, just kind of forecasting, looking at some tech that's coming out, looking at things like low Earth satellites. Hopefully that won't be an issue for too much longer as we get into the next couple of years. But one of the biggest hangups before is hosting is a great way to solve a technical problem. When you put the Saran server component on your computer, that is a massive enterprise level stack of database server technology. And if your computer maybe has something funky on it, maybe you've got some additional security concerns or something's not quite right in your registry or what have you, we can run into issues. And what you really want to do in those instances is just be up and running. And the best way to do that is to put you on hosting. So starting today, if you're on any plan and you call into support and your server's not started and it's giving you fits and you just need to get that payroll done, guess what support's going to say? Hey, let's just get you on hosting. And you know what? That doesn't cost you a single cent more. Hosting also means that we have safe, secured, managed backups for you. We talk to people all the time with heartbreaking stories. Somebody lost a computer, the drive crashed. They sent it off to a technician to recover. That tech did not recover their Saran data. They had a backup somewhere from 2 years ago. Now they're stuck entering 2 years of information. If you're on hosting, we've got those backups for you. We keep your data safe. Talked to somebody in the end of January. Their office was broken into. 2 computers were stolen. Fortunately, the thieves didn't take the USB backup drives that were sitting on the table next to the computer with those backups. If they had, they would have been totally sunk. On hosting, again, you lose your computer, you get a new computer. You need to add it, you get online from home. Your data is simply there, ready to go. It's the fastest way to make sure you can do your work and use CDM Plus for your ministry. That is what we want to offer. So we made hosting a part of every single plan. Our help center is free. And as far as I'm concerned, our help center will always be free. We are never going to put the documentation and the resources for how to use the program for self-help behind a paywall. That's just bad choice in my mind. If you purchase the software, you should be able to go to the documentation, go to the videos, go on our YouTube, see how it works. And we're constantly working to improve this. That is always there, available for everybody. I haven't mentioned what happens if you're not on a plan. If you're not on a plan, you're not on a plan. The only requirement there is if you're trying to do payroll or tax forms, we do need you on a plan so we can make sure that you're on a current version. But if you don't need to be on a plan, there's no reason you can't keep running CDM Plus on your own machine and kind of keep that up to date. And if you're going to do that, you still have that help center support available to you. Now, here's where these plans start to break apart. On the basic level, if you need help from our support team via email or phone, or if we get to that point, adding chat, that's going to be a per instance charge. I'm going to explain what a per instance support charge is. This is something we do today, but I'll have a slide for that shortly. If you're on the budget plan, that's included. The next point of differentiation is mobile and engage. So to be able to add those extra platforms and round out your full CDM Plus suite, that's where you need to be on the cloud, because cloud is essentially our vision of how CDM Plus is meant to be used and meant to be a powerful companion in your ministry. So to get to cloud, once you get to cloud, you have mobile and engage. If you don't feel that you need those tools just yet, if you're paying for online giving through some other solution, if you don't want to have that mobile access, if that's not valuable to you, or you haven't decided to make that jump, you can choose budget and you have everything that you would have in cloud. If you're a pro and you don't need support, you can go down to basic and you've got everything that you need. You can still be hosted, You still get all the program updates. You're still able to do your payroll. Again, as I said before, think about what you need. Where is the best value here for you, for your organization? Let me give you some specific examples. This is a little bit harder than the SaaS because there were so many combinations before. But let's start with core. Membership contributions, accounting and payroll with one license. Previously, if you just had support, which would give you phone, email support, and upgrades, that was $39.17 a month. If you added hosting to that, that was $64.12 a month. If you then had Engage Complete, you were up at $109.12. Let's say you were just on the payroll support. This is the bottom tier, $5 a month, and that annual upgrade, which is $102.50 for that particular configuration, works out to $13.54 a month. If you're on hosting only, which was an option that some folks would take, it was $24.95 a month. Now, you have one of three choices for this configuration. Cloud is $75, budget is $50, and basic is $20. That's it. I'm going to talk in a minute about how we've kind of pre-selected the mapping for you, or what plan you're going to go to, and you are not stuck with the plan that we chose, not at all. But using that mapping, here is how those configurations kind of fall out. So with support, previously you paid $39.17. Now you pay $50 a month. But guess what? You get hosting. That was going to be $24.95 a month before, putting you up at the $64 range. Now it's just $50, and you get that hosting built in. If you were on support and hosting, you paid $64.12. That is now $75. But guess what? You get full Engage built in. That would have been an extra $45 a month up at that $109. Now it's just $75. If you are already bought into the entire CDM Plus suite, great. You're going to see an awesome savings. You went from $109 a month down to $75. Let's say you're on the bottom tier. You were paying $60 a year plus $102 upgrade. Well, that's now to our basic plan, that's $20, but you get hosting built in with that. And let's say you were just on hosting and you weren't using mobile at $24.95, we've moved you to the budget plan, it's $50. But honestly, you could go to basic and you could save $4.95 a month. One note here is that mobile was previously a benefit for hosting. Now it's part of our cloud package because, again, that's part of the spirit of this overall CDM Plus solution. Along with Engage, mobile provides that complete access. So that's important to know here, because let's talk about kind of how we mapped your various combinations of plans or services to these new plans. In general, if you were on payroll support only, you went to basic. If you were on support, you just had Premier support, we sent you to the budget plan. If you had hosting, we put you on cloud. But anyone that had mobile or Engage ended up on cloud because that's the plan you need to get those features. And anyone whose new rate was exceeding our complete plan at $175 a month, we just went ahead and put you on complete so that you hit that maximum all-you-can-eat plan. There, we've got a really handy explainer here on help.saran.com. And I'm going to show you how this works. And this is going to be a great way to look at the various resources we have on the help site. So I'm going to switch over here to my browser. And again, I'm on help.saran.com. I went to the sales page. We've got a pinned article here for these plan changes. And you can see, all right, am I SaaS or am I traditional? Well, we're going to look at traditional. When I click on these traditional plan changes, you can see there's lots of information here. Scroll up and down. Hopefully, again, talking through it in the webinar is going to be a great way to explain it. You can read it if you'd like, watch the recorded webinar, and you can always give our sales team a call, and we'll be happy to talk to your specific situation. But we want to know how Saran is chosen, what plan I'm going to go to. So if I scroll down here, there's a choice that says, how will I be transitioned to the new plans? And when you click this, we take you down to sort of, hey, we sent you an email, but here's how it's going to follow. You can follow this logic here to say, okay, I was enrolled in hosting. Yep, that's good. And I had payroll support. Okay. And I wasn't using mobile. So that means, great, I'm moving to budget. And my benefits include program updates and unlimited phone and email support. That's, again, just the plan that we chose for you. You can follow this tree to sort of see the logic and walk through your specific situation. Now, you do not have to stick with what we chose, not in the least. For one, you can change your plan at any time until your next renewal, and that won't affect your rates today. And we're going to talk about when these plans change in a bit, because that's a whole separate conversation. So, like, for example, if your plan is going as we selected to budget in August, and you say, you know what, that Engage looks great. We'd like to have online giving, and we want to really push that in a big way for our Easter services. Contact sales and say, look, when my plan renews, when it officially switches over to these new rates, I want to go on cloud. Perfect. We'll set you up. That's where you will renew, but we're not going to prorate charge you anything until then. So what you want to understand is we're in a window now where we're transitioning into these new plans. And what matters is that you want to be able to kind of get yourself set to the plan you want. So say you were going to budget and you decide you want to go down to basic. Give us a call. We'll go ahead and make that adjustment. And then when your renewal kicks in, you'll be at that basic tier. For everybody, except for those that are on budget, there is a more affordable option. So if you think back to that couple slides back, I might have been paying $64.12 for my hosting and my support. And Saran chose cloud for me. And that takes me all the way up to $75 a month. I don't need Engage. I don't want mobile. I'm not ready for that. Great. You can go to the budget plan, and instead of paying 64 and change a month, you're not paying 50. You see a cost savings. The difference there is that you don't have access to Engage and mobile. So there's like anything, there's a trade-off to understand, but for everyone except those on that bottom tier, there is a more affordable option. And for those that are on the bottom tier, we've got a entry on the page I just showed you that kind of walks you through sort of what the benefit is there. But you would have increased from $13 and change to $20 a month, and you're also getting the hosting as part of that. So you're always getting new benefits. One option is you can always go from one plan to a higher plan on a short-term basis. So let's say you purchase a new program. You've added check and check out, and you want to get that started. And you say, look, I'm on basic because I'm a real CDM Plus Pro. I don't need the unlimited support, but I know I'm going to need it for the next 3 months. Perfect. You can upgrade to budget. You need to be there for at least 3 months before you downgrade. But that's going to give you an option for you to say, I just need to go ahead and be on a higher tier for a few months. Now, of course, when you downgrade, you lose access to those features. So if you upgrade to cloud and start using mobile and Engage, you need to stay there to keep having access to those features. Again, talk to sales. The last thing we want to do is put anyone in a hard place financially without offering some better value for your ministry. And sales has lots of options and lots of tools and techniques and strategies we can use to make sure we're giving you a great value and a fair deal. Let me go back to that per instance support. And as I said, per instance support is something that we've done for a number of years. Way back when it was $35 per instance. It went to $55 at some point. We haven't changed this in a long time. We're now bringing that up to $125. And frankly, if you were to look at software out there and say, hey, I just want to pay for this one support call, $125 is a lot closer to what we would say is probably a fair industry level. Help Center and YouTube resources are always free, right? We never want you to have to pay to get the documentation or understand how to use the software. And we're constantly working to evolve and expand and add to those resources. So when we talk about per instance support, we're talking about one software issue, not individual calls. If you call us and your taxable income summary is all out of whack and you change something along the way and you can't figure it out and you dug and finally said, look, I just need to talk to one of those CDM Plus experts that knows payroll really well, great, $125. And we're going to take as many calls and emails as it does, hopefully not that many, because we want you to get a resolution quickly to get that solved. But if we have to call you 2 or 3 times, we're not going to ding you for each one. There are a couple other cases where we never charge per instance support. If you are hosted and you're on basic, which does not include unlimited phone and email support, but you're hosted and you can't get connected, maybe there's some Windows update that blew something out of the water in your machine, we will not charge you for help getting connected to your hosted data. Or if you're running into a problem in the program and we've determined that it ultimately came from a bug, that's on us. We're not going to charge you for that. Now, there are a few instances where we will charge you. If you're self-hosted and you need help connecting, even if your program's not up and running, you need help connecting to self-hosted and you're on budget, we are going to charge you for that. We're not going to charge to move you to hosting to get you going. But if you really want that self-hosted instance, we will absolutely help. We will support that, but there will be a charge on the basic level. If you are on budget and you want to remain self-hosted for whatever reason, that is included with your support. We are not requiring people to move to hosting, and we're not necessarily going to penalize you for being hosted if you're on a plan that has that support. If for some reason you decide to leave hosting and go back to your own computer, we send you a backup, we send you instructions, step-by-step, tells you how to get your data loaded. But in the instance you need help with that, again, trying to get that self-hosted environment up and going, we would charge for that call. So let's think about the benefits with these new plans. Look at your email to see for when that price change goes into effect. But regardless of when the price change goes into effect, just like we talked about with SaaS, you get these new benefits today. If you are on this call and you are paying Saran any kind of money for CDM Plus, you have hosting. It's not any extra money, it's just built into your plan. You can go on hosting today. If you are not running the current version, you can upgrade today. There's no additional charge. You have those available to you right away to get you the latest, greatest, and the best, safest, securest way to access your data. And if you're on cloud, you can enroll Engage for no additional charge at all. That's simply built in. You don't have to think, gosh, is this worth $40 or $30 a month, $45? You just simply contact us. We'll send you the form to set up your merchant account, get you going, and you're all set. So let's go through each of these benefits one by one. With upgrading, you can go to CDM Plus 11.1.4. We've got an 11.1.5 that's in beta, and in fact, unless something really squirrely shows up, what the 11.1.5 is beta that we have posted, we'll just simply relabel it as the final release. That we're looking for that next week. Again, we're always updating and enhancing and expanding the software. We've set up a really easy way for you to get access to the current version. Just go to download.cdmplus.com. Just think, I want to download CDM Plus, and that'll take you to the current version. Just make sure you check your system requirements. They're listed on the download page. They're listed on our website. We had some changes for 11.1, and we have some more that are coming out for CDM Plus 12. In a nutshell, if you've been hanging on to Windows 7, which Microsoft end of life over a year ago, you're going to need to upgrade. So we're dropping support for Windows 7. And there's a few other changes there. Just take a look at our help center and take a look at the system requirements on our website, and we'll explain all of that. With hosting, again, offsite backups, remote access from any internet connected computer. We talk to people that they do some work at the church office, they take it home and they do some work. And the way they do that is backing up and sticking it on a thumb drive and going back and forth and restoring and backing up and restoring. That sounds like a lot of time that you could be doing really good work in CDM Plus or something with something else. Go on hosting. It's always one copy of your data. You can access it from anywhere. You're good to go. We also make sure those servers are up and running. We want to make sure that you don't have, oh, shoot, the server's down, there's some major upgrade and something went sideways and you can't get to work. Again, this is making sure you can get to your work and get into your CDM Plus as quickly as possible. As I said, this becomes a solution without a cost factor. 70% of our clients are already hosted. To go on hosting, just contact sales. We'll set up a window where we basically back up your data, shut down your local server, restore your data up onto our cloud, get you connected, and you're good to go. And here's the great thing. For hosting, there's no learning curve. And this isn't a decision about, oh, it's going to be harder for me. You just use CDM Plus as you always have. You're simply accessing the data, and we're making sure those backups are good. And we're making sure that your system's up and ready to go. With Engage, again, integrated online giving. This is huge. I'm going to talk more about this in a sec, but that's one of the biggest reasons to use Engage. Online directories, payroll direct deposit. This is one that I think is undersold. Employees getting their pay stubs online. Nobody wants to say, oh, can you run me off a copy of my pay stub? Instead, just say log into Engage. You got somebody's at the car dealership and needs to prove their income to get a loan. Just pull it up on their phone and off they go. These are all pieces of Engage. The value that Engage offers. Again, you really want to think about overall value here. When you're on cloud or any of our SaaS plans, Engage comes with no additional monthly fees. Our pricing is consistent and competitive. There's a page on our help center where we compared Engage with all the other providers out there, and it's very easy to understand. It's 30 cents, and there's low fee for ACH. There's a very competitive fee for MasterCard, Visa, and Discover, and there's a slightly higher fee for American Express. The best thing about Engage Giving is you can turn on the fee assist feature. And what that does is it gives your givers a little checkbox, and they can say, yeah, I'd like to help with the transaction fees. And what that does is that means you get 100% of that gift. The reality of electronic banking, of electronic transfers, is that anytime money moves from one system to another, somebody gets paid. That's simply how it works. Now, if you look at a plan that says, yeah, it's all inclusive, it's all built in, there's no transaction fees, someone else is covering those transaction fees. They've built it into their business model. So what Fee Assist does is it says your givers, that wide pool of people that are supporting your organization, they say, I want to help with this, so you get 100% of that gift. But again, think, you're not spending time keying in checks or going down to the post office or making deposits to the bank and opening yourself up for possibly some human error. It's just automatically built into the program. And those gifts save straight into CDM Plus. You don't have to import or type or do anything else like that. They're just there. And you know what? As people are thinking about coming back into person services, they've been giving online, maybe they set up recurring giving online. Now they're in that service and they want to do a text gift, or they want to turn around and write a check. Great. All that ends up in CDM Plus. It's all visible and engaged. They see everything collected together into one area. With Engage Giving, we post straight to your ledger. We track that entire gift all the way through. This is the fastest, simplest, easiest, best way to get your accounting straight with your online contributions. Really, you're going to save time, improve accuracy, and that has high value. As I said, payroll direct deposit, I personally feel that this is way underrepresented. There's no monthly fee for payroll direct deposit. It's built into your Engage. The fees per transaction is $1 per batch plus 30 cents per each of your employee accounts. You can split those. So maybe you want a percentage to go to savings, or you have a deduction that needs to go for somebody's health savings account. If you have some folks that want a paper check and some want a direct deposit, you can mix and match. But this posts straight to your ledger, and it matches your bank statement exactly. There's a lump sum pulled from your bank account for payroll. You're going to see that exactly one click onto your bank rec. And here's the thing. We talk to a lot of folks that say, yeah, I do this from my bank's website. Well, you have to sit there and type in people's payroll. And what happens if you flip a digit or you get something wrong? This is built in. It's a couple of clicks and your payroll is automatically out the door. Okay, let's talk about renewal dates, because this is a sort of its own challenge in and of itself. Because you could be in multiple programs, you could be on hosting and support and Engage. You could renew at various times during the year. You could just pay annually. You know, I pay my hosting or my support in May. I pay that for the year and that's it. I get one notice from Saran and that's it. You could pay monthly. You know, everything is auto drawn out of your bank account. We love the ACH, or maybe it's a credit debit card, but it's a monthly fee. But we also have folks that pay their support in January and they're hosting in June. And we've yet to talk to somebody who loves getting 2 different renewal notices in their mail from Saran a year. It's like, gosh, I just paid this. That's one more thing to do. Well, it's because these plans are separate and you can mix and match. We have folks that are 3-way. They pay support in 1 month, hosting in another month, Engage in a 3rd month. Then we have mixed. Maybe they're paying support annually, but their hosting is monthly. Or maybe they're paying support in 1 month, hosting in another month, and they've got monthly Engage. These are all very real combinations out there. And it creates definitely a lot of headache for you all. You've got to key things in and know, what am I paying for? When am I paying for it? What does this cover? I just paid something. We are solving all of those with this transition. Going forward, there is one renewal date. If you had mixed annual renewals, we're going to find the break-even point. I'll show you how we do that in a second. That's going to be your point going forward. Now, because of this, because we're finding a break-even point, you may have renewed one plan just a minute ago in February, and your other plan is going to renew in December. Well, when we align, there's going to be maybe a full renewal somewhere in between. Maybe that's in September, based on the plan and how much they were. I know that that can mean there's a lot more coming out of your budget to Saran than you originally thought. What I don't know is what your fiscal year is. Is that hitting in the new year of your July to June year? Is that hitting somewhere in your calendar year? If you are running into a case where looking ahead and you're saying, wait a second, this is going to be way more in 1 year and then it evens out, contact sales. What we can do is we can turn around and say, we can put some of that renewal now, and then we'll do the rest of it next year. Again, we don't want to put you through any kind of hardship with this without having some kind of value or some sort of gain for you to show for it. If you had a mixed enrollment, if you had some that were annual and some that were monthly, once that annual runs out, even if it was different periods and we've aligned it, you're going to move strictly to monthly. It'll just be one price. Your monthly will change at that time, and check your email. It'll tell you what that was. But if you want to go to annual, we can absolutely do that as well. Annual pricing, just take that monthly rate, multiply it times 12. That's a one time a year. For monthly, just to note, we do require automatic payment. We're not going to send you a bill or an invoice or a renewal notice every month. That's a lot of paperwork. That's a lot of effort. This is an auto pay monthly renewal, and it's really convenient and works really, really well. We're not quite there yet, but do be on the lookout in the near future for you to be able to log into Saran's Engage and see a copy of all of your billing and your invoices. We're working to make that available through Engage Billing. If you are saving money, we're going to try to get you that cost savings as soon as possible. And not just try, we are. We're going to move you to the cheaper rate as soon as possible. If you are seeing an increase, that will happen after your current renewal expires. So if you just renewed in February or January, and you were on hosting and support, and now you're going to cloud, great. You're not going to pay anything extra until next year, and you get engaged today. That's just you lucked in with the timing. We want to make these features available to everyone as soon as possible. Again, you get the new benefits today, regardless of when things change over. Let me walk you through how we are going to align mixed annual renewals. So this is the case where maybe you renewed one in July and the other one renews in January. How are you going to figure out what the single renewal date is? Now, some of you may just trust us to say, yeah, okay, Saran did it right. There's a huge formula. There's a great example, and our help center walks you through it. Some of you may really want to know how this works out. Some of you may have that person on your finance committee that wants to know down to the penny, am I getting a right value? Am I getting a fair deal? And I'm hopeful that this will help explain it. And we'll be happy to walk through, again, one-on-one with you, your specific situation. So the way this works, for example, let's say your support is $510 a year, and that was renewed in January. It goes through January of 2022. You cut us a check for $510. With your hosting, that renews in July. So normally you paid July 2020. You normally would get a renewal from us starting in June for that next year of hosting, right? You're paying two different times of the year. So the question here is, okay, what's the fair break-even point? Because it's not right in the middle of those two, because one's more expensive than the other. How do we figure out essentially when you're going to make this cutover? Well, we start by figuring out how many days there are between these two renewals. In this example, which is the same example on our help center, there's 179 days between these two renewals. And we figure out at $510 for the year, we assume 365 days a year. We're not doing this around a leap year, which is handy. That works out to $1.40 a day for your support, okay? So you've got 179 days that you're paying that $1.40 for that support. Now, how much is it to have both plans? Because what we need to do is basically extend them to the point where you've paid for both plans and then make that cutover. Well, if you take the 510 and the 341, add them together, divide that by 365, while you have both the subscriptions active, it's costing you $234 a day. So what we do is we take 179 days times $1.40 a day, and you've basically got $250.60 after that hosting runs out that you've paid towards your support. Well, what does $250.60 get me at that rate for both plans at $234 a day? We do that math And we figure out that what you've paid for that support following your hosting expiration at the daily rate for both plans works out to 107 days. So from there, we simply turn around and add 107 days to your July hosting expiration, and your new renewal date will be November 2021. Again, check your email and we'll tell you exactly where we got to that. We've got another formula if you have 3 mixed ones, and we can walk through that with you if you need it. But hopefully this was helpful. And if this animation was helpful, I'm pretty proud of it. It's over on the Help Center for you to see as well, if that would be helpful in explaining to some decision maker in your organization. So the bottom line is, all of this is getting so much simpler. One renewal rate. And one time, if you pay annually, once we make it through this transition, you're going to have one check to Saran a year, and that's it. And it should be much, much easier to understand, to budget for, to just take care of, and then move on with doing your good work. Okay, so what do you need to do next? Review the plan that we chose for you. Look at your email. If you didn't get an email from us, give us a call. Tell us who you are, your organization, where you are, what your email address is, and we'll make sure that we've got a current email on file for you. We sent emails to everybody that we had on file, but if you didn't get any information from us, definitely contact us to ask about that email. Then, if you want to do a different option, whether that's moving up to cloud or moving down to basic, talk to sales. Give us drop us an email at sales@cdmplus.com. Give us a call. We'll be happy to talk through your situation, find the best option for you, and get you on that plan. Regardless, go on hosting. Contact sales. We'll get you set up to go on hosting today. Upgrade. Go to the download site, install the new version. That's ready for you today. And if you're on cloud, or if you're on one of our SaaS plans, you're not in Engage yet, contact sales. We'll get you set up on that again right away. No extra cost to you. Okay, I appreciate everyone's patience. There's a lot to go through here, and I suspect everyone has some questions, and we are definitely going to go through all of those. But before we do, I want to say a brief note. I will answer the questions, any questions that people may have. What we are not going to do is talk about your specific configuration during a public webinar that then gets uploaded to YouTube. I'm not going to talk about what you've paid, what you're going to pay, when your checks came through, how much it is for you specifically. That's your private business, and I've got a sales team that is sitting ready and able to talk with you one-on-one about your specific configuration. But if you have a question about how does budget and Engage and how do the various elements that might apply to your specific configuration, but aren't talking about your specific dollars. Again, I'm not going to pull up and say, oh, it looks like you paid us this here and this then. We will do that one-on-one. But if you want to know about how does this work, or how does that work, or how do user licenses work, anything, we are more than happy to talk through that now. So, Chris, who do we have first?
Alex, looks like we have Vicky Gonzalez. Vicky, can you hear us?
I can.
All right.
Hey, Vicky.
Hey, quick question on CDM Complete. If I understand right, that's unlimited users.
That is correct.
And unlimited packages.
That is correct.
And so do you have a list of all the packages in case, we wanted to know if there was one that we were not using, or someone could see what those packages were?
Absolutely. And that, give me 1 second here, is over on the Help Center. So if you go to sort of the top tier here, you have an option that talks about CDM Plus plans. You can take a look at that right there. And we go through the plans, and if you scroll down, it's going to say, what are the available programs? And these are the programs that we have available. So membership and attendance, contributions, and accounting and payroll. Again, those are core. Most people have a good sense of what those offer. Event registration for online events, the facilities manager, check-in, check-out, which is great for childcare. You can also use that for youth events and that sort of thing. We have a sales order program, which we came out with about 1.5 years ago. So if you've got a bookstore or bake sale or anything like that, we can track inventory and so on. We also have our regional. The good news is, and this is where I'm very happy that our site is live, all of these programs right here, if you just go onto our cdmplus.com site and go under solutions, they are all listed right here. And you can read about everything they offer.
Great.
Anything else I can do for you?
That's good.
All
I
right,
got it.
great.
Okay. Vicky, another Vicky, can you hear us?
Yes, I just have a question about where Atrix Annual, the e-file package fits in all this.
That's a great question. As it stands today, I did reach out to Atrix last year to see if we could find a way to sort of build that in to this pricing. And we have not gotten to that point yet with Atrix. So all the Atrix billing is directly to Atrix, and that is still billed through them. I would love to be able to work out a deal where we provide that maybe up to a certain number of employees as part of your ongoing subscription. And that makes a lot of sense, just one and done. Unfortunately, we don't have that today, but that's something that I will keep trying to work with Atrix to come to a good option there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Daryl, did you have a question?
I do. It's very important for us to have unlimited call and email support. And I missed what plans include that. We're SaaS, and obviously we're hosting. So what plans include the unlimited cell and email support?
If you are SaaS, every single plan includes that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're SaaS, you get everything. The only thing that you might not have is if you haven't purchased a certain program yet, but you get all the Engage, all the support, that's all built in.
And we just have the core, and yeah, that would be very, very important for us to keep.
Yeah.
So all the SaaS plans have that.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
Great.
so if you look again on, and for SaaS, you're the easiest. You just go to cdmplus.com and click on pricing right here at the top.
Yeah.
Scroll down right here, and we've got these sections included with every plan right here. Premier support. We're built in for email and phone, ready to go.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. We're very, very, very satisfied with.
Excellent. Thank you. That's great to hear.
Systems and CDM Plus. We had logos before, and they were no longer supporting something, so we had to switch to you guys, and we really, really glad that we did.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We were very happy to have you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Mary, do you have a question?
Yeah, is there any sort of storage limit on, because I'm working with our facilities manager on, he wants to look at some packages, and I'm trying to see what we can accommodate with him within CDM, and he wants to have a place to store, like, you know, layouts and that kind of stuff. So I didn't know if there was any sort of limit on how much we can upload.
Nope. Doing sort of a shared document storage like that, you know, you want a PDF of a layout and that sort of thing. You can attach those straight to the rooms in Roommate, which is a great place to put those. There is no limit. We got databases that are multi-gig in size and growing. So it's unlimited storage. Go to town.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
You're welcome.
This is Vicky Gonzalez again. I was wondering if CDM would offer a service of backup. I mean, I know that we have the data hosting, but I was wondering about, you know, purging and that kind of thing in the databases. Or, you know, if we have a large database, how can we kind of skinny it down and use your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the data there, and yes, Vicky, your all's database is one of the ones where I can confidently say we store big databases. It's not the biggest one, believe it or not, but it's definitely in the top tier. With those databases, as sort of time goes along, you definitely accumulate older records that you just don't need anymore. And that's where the archive utility really comes to bear. You can turn around and say, look, we've got attendance data from 2006. I want to be able to access it. I don't need it in my face. So the archive utility lets you move that data to a separate database. Easiest analogy is, you have a file folder full of files, you put them in a storage box and you put them in the closet. They're there, they're just not right in front of you.
Mhm.
You can create as many archive databases as you want. We generally recommend you just create one, and that database can be as big and complex as you'd like. So you can absolutely archive from your main database, and that'll kind of thin things down. Does that?
Even when,
Mhm.
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, does that help answer your question?
I was just wondering how that works with data hosting. So you can still archive when you're
Yes.
data hosting, even if your data files are not hosted on site?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, the archive database is just another kind of database. It's created on your hosting account. It's stored right along with everything else. Works great, and actually all the transfer of the data happens locally on the hosting server. So it doesn't have to like download and then re-upload every single record. So it works
Gotcha.
quite well. Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. Just to pile on Vicky's question there one more time, with archiving, there's some great information in the Help Center, but definitely talk to support. We'll be happy to talk you through archiving as well. So that's something that people don't do too often, and we often get some questions about it. So we're happy to sort of talk through how that works.
All right, FBC at Maycom, do you have a question?
Yes. What if you did not receive an email? What was that? Who do you call exactly at CDM?
Yeah, you want to talk to our sales team. And I've got this down here at the bottom. And you can call our support line and we'll get you to the right person. No worries at all. But the sales team can pull up your record and tell you exactly what's going on. That's 877-891-4236. Or drop them
Awesome.
an email and they'll be happy to follow up.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Daryl, did you have a question?
I do. So we'll have Engage now.
Yes.
For something, is that what we have to do for Engage? Do we have to call up and set that up or something?
Yeah. Reach out to sales. Just drop them an email or give them a call. They'll set up your Engage account. To do the merchant account, that's really the biggest thing that you have to do. They're going to send you an email, and it's going to say, "Hey, here's a form for you to fill out." And I'll go ahead and just show you that form right now.
Okay.
On the sales space, we've got a page that has all of our forms.
Right.
So there's one form sort of for the main merchant application. And this is the form here. And you need to fill out essentially your name and your date. And then you're going to turn around and there's one page here to complete. So it's your name, location, physical address. You need your tax ID number. That's very important. We need to have that.
Sure.
Basically, some information here about sort of, a pastor or president, somebody who's a principal. You don't really need to fill out a second principal. You can just do one.
Okay.
And we're actually, I got a great email from our partners at Stewardship with some ideas about how to make this even simpler. And then down here, this is the account where you want your funds to be deposited.
Okay.
Fill it out, and then you're going to send it to our file depot, and we'll get that processed.
For our online giving now, we use PayPal,
Mhm.
and the fees are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Instacart, Discover, and Visa. But I know the advantage would be that it goes directly into the CDM.
Correct.
Posted. How does it know from the Visa number or the payment information what giving unit it would be, just by the name?
Sure. There's so when people go to give through Engage, they can give as a guest or they can log in. And once they log in, by putting their email address, and Engage will try to find them in your database. So it'll automatically know who they are and link to that giving unit. If they create a new account, no worries. We've got a whole guide here about how to kind of get them merged in so they're working with your existing data. If they give as a guest, there's a window where you basically say, yeah, let me map them over to a giving unit. But there's lots of sort of structure and technology here to try and get them connected in. And one nice thing with this is not only do you have access to online giving, but Engage includes text giving as well. So if that's something you wanted to get into, you can set it up where folks just text a number and they say, give 50. It's got their payment information saved in Engage, and boom, it just does it right there on their phone.
So if they wanted to give online, do they go to cdmplus.com, or could
You're gonna have a dedicated Engage, and hopefully I'm gonna lean on many years of knowing Vicki here. Vicki, who was asking us some questions before, she's at Victory Christian Center here. So you go to their site and you click on Give, and there's a button. You're going to click on Give Now. You set that up on your website, and here it's going to take you to their giving page, and you choose the funds and what sets are available, and off it goes.
Cool.
So you get a custom URL. You can put your logo on there and so on. That is for your organization.
We have that now. There's a link on our website or our webpage, that our homepage, for donate, and it goes to the PayPal page like that. And
Exactly.
that's how they would do it. So they would still do it from our homepage, but it would go here instead of to PayPal, correct?
Exactly it. That's correct.
Okay, that sounds pretty simple. And again, people can help me at sales to make stuff.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw in the notes, Steve said to be sure to tell folks they need to initial the pages on that form.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, there's follow the instructions with the merchant form. That you do have to fill out that first page. There's just a point to initial the other ones, just to make sure that yes, you've seen it and looked through those. And to show where that is, it's right behind my Zoom tab. This is we go back here to my forms. We're talking about sort of as you go through these pages here, there's an initial at the bottom, and there's an initial here, and so on and so forth. That's just terms and conditions. There's a signature page to kind of add in, and then you've got your rate fees. And again, this is pretty straightforward, and we're hoping to get it even simpler, but really it shouldn't take too long to drop this in, and we'll get you set up. There is one set of clients that we have not talked to yet about new pricing, which are our friends at the state office level in the Church of God. In case you are one of those folks, stay tuned. Your pricing was a little bit different before. We're going to have some great options that kind of align with this. I was working on those this morning, so I suspect we will have something out the door for you early next week. Don't know if anyone's still left here that needs to hear that. That was one question I thought we might get. We will hang out for a few more minutes in case anyone has any other questions. If you're not on hosting, come join us. We're very excited to move forward and get this transition underway and start looking at what the future holds. Everyone take care.